Wicked for Good is the latter half of the adaptation of the Broadway musical, the former of which released last year. It's about Elphaba and Glinda, now in adulthood, as they navigate the political turmoil of Oz. It's not as good as the first one. I'll get that out of the way first. Somehow, the Act 1 and pre-midpoint Act 2, that is Wicked from 2024, is a better movie than Wicked for Good. I didn't think that would happen. I expected that the first one would be burdened with all the exposition and setup for For Good, lacking its own real 3-act structure, which would continue in its kind of sequel, which would also have its own 3-act structure, like Denis Villeneuve's Dunes Part 1 and Part 2. Not the case. Wicked is the superior viewing experience. Keep that in mind. This is a perplexing movie on that front. It fails to really stand on its own 2 feet. It's a continuation from Wicked, to be expected, no faults there really, but where For Good stumbles off the proverbial yellow brick road is its ham-fisting of iconography from the original Wizard of Oz story. Wicked does a lot insinuating its ties to original characters, but the sequel basks in its adoration for the Wizard of Oz, teeing up appearances from those original characters in their ultimate forms. The Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, a faceless Dorothy, we get it all, and it caused me to constantly think back to that original magical-looking film, which is an incredibly joyful, entertaining picture. I'll get to the look of the movie in a little while. For Good feels so much longer than Wicked due to its pacing, although that movie is pushing close to 3 hours compared to this one's 2.5. Although I've never watched the original Wicked play, I've heard that, and can now attest to the fact, that all the great songs, bar 2, are in the first half. They're the ones which are more upbeat and poppy, which helps with the pacing as the songs keep things rolling at momentous speeds while still able to go deeper into character beats. For Good songs aren't as lucky as they take a slower, more heavy tone. There's also more fickle character drama between the 3 leads, which feels incongruous to the fact that they're all meant to have grown up since their cinematic introduction last year. Love triangle story beats aren't interesting in movies which don't have that front and centre, and considering that some character motivations come from this dulling drama with less interesting music, the titular For Good and No Deed Goes Unpunished are innocent, makes the runtime uncomfortably present. The movie as a whole simultaneously looks worse and better compared to the first. The look of the first one may be grey and uninteresting, but the story was more captivating. However, this film has a few moments where they play with lighting, where choices are made, and I like choices. Choices are cool. Wicked is a movie that didn't really contain such decisions when it comes to cinematography. But on the flip side of the coin, there are some slow motion shots, which I found to be atrocious in how fake and unreal they looked. I don't mean unreal because it's a fantasy movie, but unreal meaning cheap, like a music video. Colour grade is still non-existent, and everything still has that muddied grey look, but some shots do just look worse than in that first movie. The main performances are still as good as they've ever been, when the script allows them to be. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo are both phenomenal singers and actors, which is much needed in the lead roles of a big-budget musical. I cannot stress enough, I may not love the film, but they are incredible in the movie. Grande is given more to do this time around, adding more internal conflict to the comedy of Glinda. She's more of a protagonist, a co-lead, and she does bolster the narrative. Erivo is still significantly better. She's more of a dramatic actor who does the heavy lifting of keeping this film watchable, when the script doesn't screw with the character and mess around with the tonal cohesion. I will say, as a big Jeff Goldblum fan, he was much better as the Wizard of Oz in this movie than last time. They ramp up the old carny nature of his character, and Goldblum is so charming anyway that it's very believable that the people of Oz would follow him blindly. But the rest of the supporting cast takes a wild left turn, as character traits just shift, as if by the pull of a lever this time. Bok becomes a bloodthirsty Tin Man, which, yikes, I did not like that turn for the character, as it does so much to recontextualize the original story, when it still idolizes it so much. The tone is weird. Nessa dubs herself a witch to the offside in a musical number, and Michelle Yeoh's performance is, sadly, not very good, even in conversation beats, not musical numbers. So, in the end, For Good is a drag, with some hints of fun spectacle speckled throughout the narrative. It brings me no pleasure to say this, but it was just okay to me. A couple of fun songs, and performances which are wickedly entertaining still, are undercut by how much the movie reminds me of better films which I would rather re-watch for a full 2.5 hours. Wicked for Good? 3 stars. Well, that's all. Keep on watching movies, and form your own opinions. See you in the next one.